Hi dear students, today's topic is League of Nations, its introduction, organs, functions, aims, achievements and its failures or factors that failed it. The establishment of a global institution or organization for handling the course of international relations and maintaining peace and harmony has been a unique development in human history. The idea of an international organization for averting war, maintaining peace, and collective human betterment is found since ancient times in one or the other form. The term international organization can be defined as collaborative efforts for attaining and implementing the agreed terms for collective security and betterment. On the ashes of World War I, a positive step was taken with the establishment of League of Nations. The establishment of League of Nations received special impetus when President of United States of America, Mr. Woodrow Wilson, announced his momentous 14-point program on 8th January 1918. A commission of 19 members framed the Covenant of League of Nations. The Covenant of League of Nations, appended to the Treaty of Versailles, was signed by German representative on 28th June 1919. After the end of First World War in 1918, a fluid or unstable international system came into being in which the League of Nations with its collective security system came into being or formed. The League of Nations officially came into existence on 10th January 1920. There were two types of membership. Original members were those states or nations which were signatories to peace treaties, and non-original members were admitted under Article 1 by 2/3 majority. The main aims of the League of Nations were to maintain peace, security, promote international cooperation, avoid war conditions or war situations and war, make international law as supreme law, and promote amicable relations among states. The main aim of establishing the League of Nations was to secure peace for the European people. The League of Nations was not created to mitigate the sufferings of subjugated people of the world or to give them freedom from colonialism. The main organs were the Assembly. It was supreme body that meets once a year to solve matters affecting peace, admit non-permanent members, also elects non-permanent members of the Council, judges, supervise the work of Council, amend the Covenant. Any member can withdraw by giving 2-year notice. In the course of time, 17 members withdraw from League of Nations. The second organ, the Council, was the executive organ, meets four times a year and elected non-permanent members. Germany and Soviet Union became permanent members in 1926 and 1934 respectively and were expelled 5 years later. By 1939, non-permanent members rose to 11 and permanent members reduced to Britain and France. The secretariat or headquarters was in Geneva, Switzerland. The Permanent Court of International Justice, established in Hague, Netherlands in 1922, exactly 100 years ago, consists of 15 judges for 9 years. It has advisory and judicial function. The International Labour Organization was established to improve labour conditions in Europe, or you may say in other parts of the world. The technical organization was looking after the work of League of Nations. Now, the functions of League of Nations. Number 1, peaceful settlement of international disputes and maintenance of peace. Functions relating to mandates or occupied territories, the protection of minorities, administrative functions, non-political functions. The idea of League of Nations to enforce peace was first propounded by former US President Mr. Taft in 1915. Now, the achievements. The formation of League of Nations was the first achievement of political leaders of the world. The League of Nations had achieved wonderful achievements in non-political fields or non-military fields and tried its best to mitigate the sufferings of European people. The various functions performed by League of Nations were prevention and control of disease, economic reconstruction in Europe and cooperation, checking slavery and saving women and children from exploitation, rescuing prisoners of war, sending them to their homes, and taking care of refugees. The League spread the idea of international cooperation, which is still now the supreme principle of modern global system. The League solved many problems like the island problem between Sweden and Finland, Scandinavian countries, the Anglo-French dispute, the question of nationality of persons born in Morocco and Tunis in Africa, the boundary dispute between Turkey and Britain in Iraq in 1926, Bulgaria and Greece, Italy and Greece, the Bulgarian crisis, and the Corfu incident on 23rd August 1923, in which Italian military officials were murdered on Greek soil and occupied the island of Corfu. It also worked for prohibition of the illegal trafficking of poor women and narcotics or drugs. The League looked after refugees, protecting children, worked for minorities, and tried to promote economic cooperation among countries. Now the main question which comes into the papers, or which is also asked, why League of Nations failed. Factors and causes that failed the League of Nations. The main factor or cause of the failure of League of Nations was the lack of support of the majority of the population of entire world. Again, it lacked support of the majority of the people of the world, as it was not created for the betterment and protection of their interests. The League was created with an aim to consolidate victors in Europe and perpetuate their political and economic dominance in international system or in the world. The victors trampled all norms of morality and spirituality are canons of international law. However, due to constitutional and structural defects and its irrational policies of League of Nations, the League failed and could not achieve its aims of preventing aggression and promoting cooperation among European nations. The League became a powerless body. Even smaller nations or insignificant nations were flying or flouting into his face. Failed to stop Japan, who attacked Manchuria and eventually left it, and Italy, who attacked Ethiopia in Africa in 1935, also left it. The League was not in a position to take action or impose sanctions. The League had no military force that could have controlled armament and arms race among European nations. The European analysts or people considered it a dishonorable daughter of a disgraced mother. The vanquished and dissatisfied nations of Europe hated and considered as a tool for carrying out the Vienna Treaty of Versailles, most hated treaty in the history of mankind, and considered it an association of victors. They reluctantly cooperated with its working. Germany considered it as the grouping of imperialist powers to preserve and promote their interests in the world. Russia or Soviet Union regarded it as form of imperialism assembled or gathered to thwart its emerging ideology. The absence of two major powers also weakened its performance. Britain and France were forced by the emerging circumstances to follow the policy of appeasement, subjugated and destroyed nations like Germany and Italy, propounded new theories, but the League has no power to deter them. Nations use it as a tissue paper and easily discarded it after fulfilling their interest. The provisions of the covenant were irrational and burdensome, so it could not deal with the situation. League's strength reduced from 65 to 49. The France and US followed such a policy, which realized other nations to save their existence by following such policy. The victors, instead of tackling properly the situation, blamed Germany, Italy and Japan for the failure of League of Nations. Instead of correcting their policies, they were busy in occupying and expanding their territories in the world. The economic depression of 1930s led to economic rivalries among Europeans. The League did not play a role in preventing the Spanish Civil War. The powerful countries were more conscious of their own interest than working for the supremacy of League. In reality, the League did not fail, but the members failed due to their myopic policies, myopic interest. In spite of many successes, the League of Nations collapsed and failed to save the succeeding generations from the scourge of war. All these factors shaped an uncertain environment in which the breakdown of the international system became inevitable. With such perception and attitude of its members towards the League of Nations, the League could not play its due role. These cumulative factors were responsible for the failure of League of Nations. Thus, the League of Nations failed to accomplish its assigned role as an international organization for maintaining peace, international peace. However, the failure of League was not regarded as a failure of the concept of an international organization. It was regarded as the failure of leadership of their time, who due to their myopic approach or short-sighted approach and policies did not cooperate with it. They gave priority to their narrow interest over the global human interest. These factors forced the world leaders to have a new international organization devoid of such defects. All these factors and causes were responsible for the outbreak of World War II. Even today, the world is rapidly moving towards a third World War only due to the presence of above like factors. And the world is on the brink of a third World War between antagonist ideologies or Western Europe, United States of America and Russia and Europe. The United Nations, like its predecessor, is unable to persuade both superpowers to stop the war in Ukraine. The role of Islamic countries and non-state actors will play a crucial role in the future of international relations.